Hello everybody, welcome to the sixth and what I believe will be the final video that I put together to walk you through the various steps of the midterm project. Before we get into this final video, what I'm going to do is pose a quiz question to you, and this is going to be questions 2 and 3. So for question 2, I want you to tell me what the formula is for calculating percentage change, because that is what we're going to do here in this next step of the midterm project, but I'm not going to tell you how to do that, right? Because we've already gone through this formula in previous workbooks, and you could also look it up online pretty simply. So question 2, please tell me the percentage change formula. Question 3 is going to be, what is the percentage change in our data from the first month, which is going to be August of 2019, to our last month, which is going to be February of 2020. Right, so what is the percentage change? And you're going to have to put this in your report anyway, but I'm just checking to see if you're listening. All right, so this is pretty simple. We don't have to really create another variable because we're just looking at percentage change from the first month to the last month of our data set. So all we have to do is we've got to count the number of crimes that occurred or that were reported in August of 2019, which is pretty easy to find because it's right here. And we then have to count up the number of crimes that were reported in February of 2020, and then use the formula that you identified to calculate percentage change. And now, just so you know, I had pre-sorted here, so I selected this column. I went to sort and filter, and I filtered from oldest to newest. Right, so that gave me the data in this sequential order. And so that's why you can very easily just come up with these figures and use the formula for percentage change to calculate the percentage change from the first month to the last month of our data set. Now also note, in the midterm project, I'm asking you to come up with a potential explanation as to why. Why might we have seen, and I'll give some of it away, an increase from August of 2019 compared to February of 2020 on campus? I think through that, and why might the percentage change look the way that it does? And I'm just going to pull my exercise over into the screen here. Oops. And what we'll do is we'll just continue on because it's not going to require me really to do anything in Excel for you. All right, so we just covered 3C, which is having you explain trends over time and calculating percentage change. In D, what I'm asking you to do is to calculate rates of violent property and other crimes for each of the dorm rooms. Right, so you could provide this in a table. And so what a table like this. And so I don't need to show you via video because I provided you with the formula that you could use to calculate the rates of violent and property crime. And the denominator that you're going to use here is the occupancy of the dorm rooms. So you could go back to that website and where we've got information on the dorms, and you could pull out this information if you don't already have it in your report. And so I give you this information here, so I'm not going to walk you through it. If you have questions about it, go ahead and post your question on the message board and I can respond. But this is essentially what I'm looking for here. Right? You should have a column where we've got the counts of violent crime, the occupancy of the dorm room, and that'll give us the victimization rate. And so you should do this for violent crime, property crime, and other crime as well. And it's probably best to have these in separate tables. So I'd create another table like this for property, and then another table for other crimes. And then finally, in section E, what you're going to do is provide me a table for each dorm room that breaks down the violent property and other types of crime in terms of the percentage of overall violent crime. Right? So this will help us get an idea of what the kind of big problems are at each of the dorm rooms. What you're also going to end up doing is looking at the percentage of crime that each individual crime type contributes to the category of crime. So for the violent crime category, you'll list your crime types in one column. You'll add or count up the number of crimes or times those crimes occurred, and then you could just calculate the percent of overall violent crime for each of these categories. So that's, again, pretty simple to do, and I provide you with some information on how you can make that calculation here. Right, so that takes us to the end of the actual analyses. So just keep in mind that I've just walked you through what steps you needed to take in order to complete the analysis. But now what you have to do is take all the analyses that you've done and put them in a report and be able to clearly articulate what analysis was done, why you did it, and what you're finding. Right, so again, I gave you the steps to take for calculating or going through the different steps, but now it's going to be your job after you've done that to put that into a strategic crime analysis report. And also just want to point out that we don't have all of the information that we would typically provide in a strategic crime analysis report, but this is where we are in the course. This is where we have gotten to up until this point, so this is where we will end. And I also want to point out that we're going to be covering hypothesis testing in the lectures next week. And what we're going to end up doing is coming up with hypotheses about why we see the trends that we do in terms of crime at our dorm rooms. All right, so keep thinking about why you're finding the trends that you do and why you're seeing crime occur where it does on campus, because we're actually going to use this information and these data to come up with hypotheses and see if we can't test those hypotheses. Right, so 2 o'clock class starts. I'm going to be monitoring the message board, and if you have any questions, please post them. I'll be monitoring that message board until 6 o'clock. So if you got to this point, hopefully it's before 6 o'clock and you don't have to worry about emailing me, but if you did not finish this by 6 o'clock, feel free to shoot me an email if you run into any questions with the analysis. And just to reiterate, I'm asking that you upload the final report to Blackboard by next week. So by 2 p.m. Next Tuesday, you should have your actual report completed. All right, so I hope you found these videos informative. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on the message board, and we'll see how you do.